Hello everybody. Welcome back to another video. So two things that I am going to be doing here, and I'm actually going to adjust this lighting here in just a second. I need to bring this down. I think I figured out how to keep my lighting from automatically shifting, and I'm actually figured out on my camera how to sort of manually toggle on and off certain lighting settings. So yay me, because that drives me nuts. And I did order a new ring light thanks to Vixie Plan. I have one that sits right here, but she said if I could get one that's on both sides showing in that might help reduce a lot of the shadow, because I do have, I just bumped that into the screen. I do have a light behind me. That's my ceiling fan. I can't really get around that. That's just the light that's in my office. My desk is in the corner. It's built into the wall. There's nothing we can really do about it. But I did order a new ring light that it's still the same, that clips onto my bookshelf. I have it clipped onto my bookshelves, which are above. That has actually two little ring lights coming out of it that I can maybe clip and then just adjust so there's a little less shadow. Just so I have to do less on the back end of the editing. It's the same with audio editing. When I'm audio editing my podcasts, the cleaner your initial take and the less editing you have to do, the better. And that's just sort of a general rule for audio and video. So what we're doing today, and this is something that I am so excited to do because this is very much my passion, is I'm going to be doing a little bit of a rings update, but not a full update of I'm just going to bring back in my health tracking stuff into my everyday carry. So the reason I moved my health tracking stuff out of my everyday carry was because I had it in a personal wide. Now, I've been sort of referencing my personal wide. That light is still, there we go. I've been referencing my personal wide 1 to 3 times a week, but then I realized very quickly that I hated having to always drag out another book to drop in my workouts or update something. And then I've slowly kind of pulled pieces in. And I realized that I wanted just going back to having one rings book. So I'm going to slowly start shifting some of the things that are in here back into my daily carry. Nothing creative though. It's going to be just data, and nothing that requires me to do a lot of legwork. So one of those things is going to be bringing back in all my health tracking. And I'm going to talk about why I'm a full-time coach, health coach, if you will, is the most general term I think I could say. My full-time job is really doing online nutrition coaching, but with sort of in the realm of hormones and metabolism, gut health, things like that. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I've tracked so far for April, why I'm tracking the things I'm tracking, and what I do with that data, and why, as somebody who delivers their programming entirely online to her clients, I am using a lot of manual stuff for myself, and I'll get into that first. Let me take just a little sip of my decaf. I always need a little hot drink when I do these, I feel like. It's just the vibe. Okay, will that light please stay out of the way? There we go. Okay, so everything that I track in here manually is also logged digitally. My sleep, my steps, my workouts, my cycle, all that data is housed digitally. But the problem is that there's no real good way for me to see that data as a whole unless I compile it as a whole. Now, when I deliver my clients' programming online, I can see all that data for them because of the way it feeds into my coaching platform. So when they do their workouts, when they do their daily logs, when they do all their stuff, I can pull up all their data and glance at it for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, sometimes even months, depending on how long I've been working with somebody. Some people I have 3 years of data on, and I can pull that information up. I can also go over it and collate it and show it to them, but they also have access to all of that data too. So again, anything with health gets logged digitally, but I need to be able to see things also from a big overview, and specifically the things that I like to track for myself for my own personal health. And this is how I have, funnily enough, okay, so this is how it kind of goes. I have an in-person strength coach that I work with specifically for my training, and one of my best friends sort of oversees my nutrition just because she gets a kick out of it. And so I kind of like run my stuff by her. So in essence, she is coaching me, but I'm still very much like responsible for logging and tracking and overviewing this stuff. And I'll explain what I'm doing with this data from a personal health standpoint as well. So things that I'm logging and tracking here currently in my health is one, I have currently at the beginning of this, a log for me to track some specific data on just a regular monthly here for my semaglutide protocol. So I started semaglutide. Don't come for me. It's totally fine. It's a peptide therapy. It's a GLP-1 agonist. And so essentially what I'm using this for is because I am pursuing weight loss, but I have a very sort of fraught history with autoimmune disease, adrenal issues, as well as past eating disorder. And I also have clients that leverage semaglutide. So for me, it's kind of a personal and professional experimentation, but I want to log specifically digestion. So one of the mechanisms of semaglutide is that it slows gastric emptying. So I'm leveraging something called bowel training, which is meant to improve just the flexibility and the physical function of the bowels. And then also if I have a bowel movement. And so that's all I'm tracking here, plus my average weight from week to week. And then when I do my dosages and how much of the dosage. So I'm not going to change this because I want a separate log for this. But there's other behaviors that are really, really important for me to track while I'm in a fat loss phase. I would be tracking these things whether I was using the semaglutide or not, because they're things that are really important to semaglutide. Now, the one thing I'm not logging in here manually is my macronutrient intake. So I'm very much a proponent of leveraging different nutrition accountability strategies depending on the specific situation. And in this specific situation, it's really necessary when I am in a targeted fat loss phase and I don't want to try to be in a deficit for longer than I need to be. It's really important for me to track my macros, basically tracking my protein, my carbs, my fats, and overall calories for the day. And so I'm using a tracking app. I'm currently using MyFitnessPal just because I use MyFitnessPal or Chronometer. I've just been using MyFitnessPal because it has a little dashboard that I can set on my phone. So like at my home screen on my phone, I can see at a glance right here, shows me sort of what I'm eating and what I have left for the day. And I like seeing that glance visually because, again, I'm somebody that needs multiple visual reminders throughout the day. Chronometer doesn't give me that view, so I'm using MyFitnessPal, even though I really do, from a professional perspective, prefer Chronometer because it's less diet culture-y, if you will. It's literally just straight for tracking macros, right? That's all it is. So regardless of this, these are things that I need to track. Now, I have a spreadsheet that I input all of my macros in every single week that averages it for me because ain't no way I'm doing that manually. And that is the sheet that I use to report to my friend who oversees my nutrition. And so that's where I do that. I do that digitally. There are things that I need to log digitally, but the behaviors, the health behaviors is what I like to track. So I'm going to get into this here in just a second. So behind my monthly here, this is my sort of my project overview. I've got a couple different things happening. And I've been logging my workouts visually like this on a calendar because I have horrible ADHD. I might think that I did something like yesterday when I really did it like 3 or 4 days ago, and I kind of lose touch with the timeline. So again, having a visual reminder, I actually have all of 2023 logged similarly, and I really like this, and I use the Randy.plans little icon stickers just to make it more fun. This is just a page marker that I got from Planet Stowe, and I stuck a sticker pocket on here, like an adhesive pocket on here to mark this page. So things that I'm logging personally right now is period symptoms, because my endometriosis has been a little bit on one lately. It's just kind of the nature of chronic illness. Sometimes you go through I'll go several months in a row, where I'm totally fine, no major issues. But recently I've been having some issues, and even my cycle lengths have started to vary. I'm usually at 32 days on the clock, but I had a 35-day cycle in April. And then the month before was 28, which is, again, really not weird for me. So because that just that discrepancy in cycle length varied so much from what my norm is, this is what I started logging symptoms. Now, this is very similar to what I have my clients do. If I have a client that I'm working with and we're really struggling to manage their period symptoms, I have them fill out a daily log for digestion, as well as like just like brain fog, as well as like period symptoms if they're on their period, so we can track the trends over time. And that's really what this is for. It's tracking the trends over time and then comparing it to how did the behaviors impact it, right? So for example, this was cycle day 1 here on this Saturday. And so I was really not feeling super intense workouts this week. I was very tired this whole week. And I actually think I slept a little bit more this week. And so I just didn't. But then on cycle day 3, I was fine. I was good to go. Like I was like, okay, we're back in the game. But that's why I would log these symptoms. Now I just started logging these symptoms and I was like, ovulation ? Because I was like, I was getting like ovulation cramps at like a weird time. Like I was getting ovulation cramps here, but I didn't get my cycle until here, which is not normal for me personally. But again, that's why I'm just collecting the data so that in another month or 2, I can reflect on the data. This is very rarely information that you can act on immediately. It's usually stuff as a female. If you're having a cycle or cycle issues, you have to track the trends over time and then make decisions based on the trends over time. Not what we want to hear. I was tracking my workouts on this sort of month-on-one page here. I don't really like this. What I really liked was actually these pages. I'll show you what I was doing. I really enjoyed tracking stuff like this. Like, so for example, this was October of last year, and then this was a month-on-one page. So I did the sticker, the workout, and then I tracked various data here. But I wasn't loving this particular side of the tracking. This was from Planner Room Shop. I do love this layout, but really what I want is just this side, but I don't have the wherewithal right now to just figure out how to get this one page printed the way that I want it printed. So I'm kind of trying to find a new alternative, but also I want to track a little bit more data a little bit more closely. So having the one page for the tracker doesn't really work right now anyway. So I'll show you what else I'm tracking for April. My daily steps, this is really important to me because your non-exercise activity contributes to about 15% of your overall metabolic rate on a day-to-day basis. So even more than targeted exercise, your daily non-exercise activity, that's you moving around, going for walks, cleaning the house, walking around the grocery store, walking around your office. Now I work completely online, and so I have to be very, very mindful of ensuring that I walk. Because if I don't do that, I'll get like 3,000 steps in a day if I don't think about it. My goal is 8,000 steps. And again, this is information that I put in that spreadsheet. So me logging it like this makes it very easy for me to catch up on my spreadsheet. But it also shows me like, okay, cool. Like for example, cycle day 2, I only got 1,600 steps that day. But I was really, really sick that day with my period. Again, my endometriosis has been on one, and that's just good information for me to know. The other thing I'm tracking is my sleep. I've really been struggling with my sleep. My mental health was really in the shitter in March and kind of in the first half of April. We're getting out of there. And really what my goal is to go to bed around 10 and wake up around 6. And so I'm just logging how much I slept here and then sort of what hours I slept, because my Garmin does track that at least close enough that I can get a trend. Sleep trackers are not like 100%. They're not foolproof. And so we kind of have to use this data with a grain of salt. What you have to look at is the trends over time versus day to day or even week to week, right? So I can tell, like, I started sleeping better right around mid-April when I finally went to therapy. I missed, like, I had to miss one of my therapy appointments, and that was really bad news bears for me and my mental health. So, and I just did this all on grid paper, this month. And so I just made, again, these 2 bars, and I really like this because this shows me sort of what my ideal sleep window is versus what's actually happening. More so than looking at how much I was sleeping, I can look here. Now, what I can correlate is the days that I exercise, I fall asleep much faster and I sleep much longer. So I'm going to be aiming in May to up from 3 days a week training to a minimum of 4 days a week training, trying to go on 5. Even if it's only like doing something quick at home, even a quick 20-30 minute full body workout at home as just an extra workout once a week, I think is going to help my sleep. And I actually did a podcast recording on like why exercise is good for hormone balance. Well, because of the impact that regular exercise has on your heart rate variability, it can improve you getting into a parasympathetic state with your heart rate for the nighttime, which improves your sleep quality and your ability to stay asleep. So that's that correlation there. That's why I'm tracking that information. And then here, I'm just tracking my April weigh-ins. Again, I log this all digitally. I have a scale that is Bluetoothed to my phone that gives me this data, but I just want to see April. If I want to see like a course of 3 months, I can pull that up on my phone, but I very much, again, I lose track of a timeline. And I don't really have a connection to it unless I see it visually. And for me, writing things down just helps. So again, too, I even have clients that they're paper planner people because maybe they found me from my stationery page and then made their way to my coaching page for my business. And we look at how can we leverage your paper planner to help keep your health goals, routines, and things in front of mind. And so here is the beginning of April, right around 167 pounds, and here we are at the end of April, right around like 160. I think I'm probably going to average this week around like 162, 161. I look at the weekly average, which is where, again, if you'll see at the beginning of this, I'm logging my average weight for the week, not my day-to-day. So when I look at my weight loss, I'm really going to be looking at the first week of April. Maybe, yeah, I was weighing in at 167 the first few days, but my average for the week was 165. So from April 1 to April maybe 29, it might look like a 7-pound loss, but it's really maybe only like a 4 or 5 pound loss, which is a much healthier rate of weight loss. And when I'm looking at the average weight from week to week, what I'm looking for is an average of 1.2 to 1.5 pounds per week maximum. Anything more than that, you're likely losing lean tissue as well, especially if you're not keeping a high protein diet and weightlifting, right? We talk about building muscle is weightlifting as well as eating plenty of protein. And what builds muscle is also what maintains muscle when you're in a calorie deficit, which is high protein diet, resistance training. I'm still eating carbs, you guys. I'm not on a low carb diet. Okay. And so this is what we're seeing here. And again, I'm looking at, again, that average rate of weight loss from maybe 1.2 to 1.5 per week. Anything more than that means that I need to maybe bring my calories up just a little bit, and make sure that I'm not losing too quickly. I also would like to point out here that I started my deficit here. So like this week to this week, I was at maintenance here. I started my deficit here. 165.2 to 164.8 is only like 0.4 pounds, right? Roughly a half a pound. I didn't start really seeing a drop in the scale until this week here towards the end of the week. And that is extremely normal. When you start a calorie deficit and you're truly consistent with it, you're really not going to see a scale drop, a noticeable scale drop until you hit week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 3, week 4 is when you'll start to see movement, right? Anything before here, you might see a little bit of movement, but it's not going to really be significant. So from 164.8 to here, like I said, I'm expecting to average maybe like 162 something here. But let me see what my current average is for the week, just currently. 162.9. So I'm probably going to land right around, let's say 162.9 is my average for the week that I'm calculating because it's already Saturday. So 164.8 minus 162.9, that's a 1.9 loss. That means I'm losing a little bit too fast. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my week from this last week and see, okay, where were you hitting with your calories? Maybe let's add an extra like 150 to 200 calories, split that between my protein and carb intake, and that will slow my rate of weight loss because what I don't want to do is lose muscle tissue. I only want to really lose body fat. Okay. So that's what I do with that information. Okay. Going back over here. That's pretty much what I'm tracking. Now, this was sort of just all sort of schlepped together, like I said, because my other rings is personal wide. And I had all of these things printed out in personal wide for me to track things. And so I just put this all on like graph paper. This is just the back of this. This is just the back of this. I always put graph paper on the back of my weekly and monthly inserts because I like having the months separate. Like I don't like having this be April and then May be on the back of this. I want a little bit of notes pages just in case of stuff like this happening, because I don't like it otherwise. So what we're doing is going to be similar to this, but I'm just accepting that I really just want it in my everyday carry. Like, I really do. I don't think I took it out initially because all the extras was keeping me distracted, but because I am in a fat loss phase right now and focusing on this stuff day to day and logging the data is something that I don't want. I want to reduce the barrier to actually remembering to log the data consistently. I don't want to have to reach for an extra book. I'm going to migrate it back into this book. So this is what we're going to do for May. I had this for May, and I'm going to not use this because I don't like it. Like, I didn't really like this overview. I'm going to actually use this one. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know if I like this one either. Maybe I will just stick with this one. JK, we're going to stick with this one. But what we're going to do is we're still going to track steps, cycle symptoms, vitamins, which I'm going to still keep in my dailies, but I want to transfer it to my monthly so I can compare the data more easily. And hydration. When you're taking something like semaglutide, it's extremely important to keep your hydration up. A minimum of 80 ounces of water a day, if not more. My goal is 100 ounces a day. I've not been super hitting the mark on that, so I need to start tracking it. I'm getting around like 60 to 70, but for me, I know I need more just for keeping my body healthy and happy. So I really need to input that, and that's just to protect your kidneys and your liver when you're taking a medication. You really need to ensure that when you're taking medications and things like that, that you're really hydrating well, so that way you don't back up essentially your detox systems, your liver and your kidneys, with additional medication and not giving your body the means of excreting the excess byproduct of different medications. And that's just a basic health rule that I follow. So let's go ahead and like set these up, and that's what we're going to be tracking for May. So you'll notice I moved my little mat out of the way because it's soft and I need to be writing on these. And so I don't want to like punch through my paper because I have a soft surface, and this is wood, so it's hard. All right, I need a little sip of my coffee. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna put my weight log again on the back of this, and I'm just gonna manually write this in. We need the 1st through the 31st. So I'm gonna start here, and we're just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 31. Okay, cool. And now I'm gonna really quick reference my April sort of weight loss log, so I can see exactly how I did this. How did I do this? Oh, where did it go? There it is. I took my page marker out and couldn't find it. Okay, so that is not it. There it is. Okay, how did I do this? So I'm likely gonna end the month in the low 160s. So I want my top of my weight log to be around 163, 164, because weight fluctuations are normal. They're normal. They're supposed to happen. Fluctuates. That's normal. So I want to make sure that I give myself a little bit of room on the tracking side of things. And I'm going to just do myself a real quick favor here. Where's my ruler? Oh, it's right. And I'm going to make a little line here. That I didn't before, and that's why I had a hard time doing it before. All right, and and so I think what I'm gonna do is I made this one go down by 2s, and I gave myself a lot of room. Like, I knew there was no way I was gonna hit like the low or even high or even mid 150s here in April, but I started too high. And I went down by every other one. However, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself less room, because I know I'm not going to lose more than like 10 pounds in a month. Like, that's just not going to happen for me, especially as I'm making sure I'm keeping my calories up and not just solely relying on the semaglutide for the weight loss, because that's how people end up with weight regain whenever you use any kind of weight loss aid or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to want to start at 164. So we're going to start here at 164. I think I can just go 3, 2, 1, 0. Yep. 63, 162. And I wouldn't anticipate me getting down even that low. So that's a very generous rate of space, to be quite honest. So yes. And again, to give you just a reference, there was only going to be in this graph at least maybe like 7 or 8 pounds, but even this isn't 7 or 8 pounds. This is like averages. But I don't anticipate it being as fast now, especially because I know I need to bring my calories up a little bit. So here we go. There's that. So this is going to be May's weight log. And I want my Tombow. This is like Tombow N79, I think. May 2024. This is my favorite way to do headers. Just write it and then weight log, because I feel like it looks cute. All right, so that's that. Ta-da! Okay, so now we need to do steps. The only thing that I'm going to do here is just write in steps and write in symptoms. I don't have specific symptoms that I'm going to like write the symptom and check it off. I'm just going to write it across this way for these 2 entries. Because I don't need to do a bajillion graphs, if I'm being quite honest. That's exhausting. So we're going to do this very similar cycle. See how cute that is? And it's very simple, very easy to do with just a pen and a marker, because I'm not like a hand lettering person. All right, vitamins. This one is going to be a little bit more intricate, and so will hydration. Say like intricate. I'm literally just going to write in the vitamins I need to take. And actually I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So adrenal, multithyroid, digestive. I've got an additional, I've got fish oil. I've got a magnesium. And then I've got a PM drops. And that's really the extent of what I take on a daily basis. Draw a little line here. Ta-da! Okay, vitamins. What did I say? Oh, cycle symptoms. So this is just gonna be, nope, that's not, hydration. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna make little markers for less than 50 ounces. The reason I say that is because this water bottle right here is 50 ounces and I drink at least this, if not more. And I know that if I'm drinking less than 50 ounces of water, that is a problem. Oh no, that is not what I want to do. I want to do something different there. I forgot I want to do this. I want to make sure I add electrolytes to my water. Now I could have put that under vitamins, but since it's specifically to my water, I want it under water. And this is going to be 50 ounces, greater than 100 ounces. And I'm going to highlight here in a second where I really want to be on a daily basis is in this 80 to 90 range. I don't know if I'm going to like that, but it's done. And what I'm going to do in my dailies in May is, instead of writing out, lately I've been writing out all my vitamins. And I have that set up for like the first 5 days of May because I did my dailies yesterday before I figured out how I wanted to update my health trackers. I'm going to just ensure that I have a vitamin, like I did my health log for the day. And that's what I'll go back. And again, all of this stuff is stuff that gets logged digitally, except my vitamins. But that's why I'm going to put it in my, maybe do vitamins and health log as a separate task on my dailies. But all of this gets logged otherwise digitally. So even if I miss a day or two of logging, I can kind of go back, and I don't try to miss more than 3 days of logging this information. So that's how that goes. Yep. Okay. That's good. Now we're going to put this here, and now we're going to do this side, which is my sleep. So this is the same as this. This is actually a Peanuts Planner Co freebie, but I just whited out the middle because I needed a little more room to do my sleep the way that I like to do it. And again, I'm going to reference this. So I have the day, and then I have the time, and then I highlighted the hours. So I need to figure out where the time is going to go and then where the hours are going to go. And I need for the hours 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 little lines. So we're going to maybe make this 10, 2, 3, 4. So total sleep is going to be here. Time asleep. And then again, I'm going to highlight the 10 line because that's the goal, and then highlight the 6 line because that's like my kind of goal window at the moment to regulate my sleep. 10 and then 6. I want to try to get as close to that as possible. There we go. Sleep. And then on the back, I don't know what I'm going to track here, but I thought what might be good, because again, I'm trying to figure out how to optimize this as much as I possibly can. I kind of hate the word optimize lately, but it has a role here with sleep. Like if I'm going to prioritize anything being optimized, it's going to be my rest and recovery. That's just how it has to go when you have a history of chronic illness and adrenal fatigue. So I think I'm going to do sort of like stress management, and I don't really need this column. So what I might do is just washi tape over this. We're going to make it cute. So actually, I kind of like the idea here of, did I get sunshine? Did I see a friend? Did I see a family member? Did I read? I'm not going to log journaling because I journal every day. So I would check that off every single day. Lately, I haven't been reading every single day. Did I go to therapy? Sunshine is the same as walks. If I'm taking a walk, it's to get some sunshine usually. Therapy, sunshine, friends, family, read, therapy. Did I do any kind of yoga or meditation? And I don't have goals around this. This is just me wanting to observe the behaviors, and then at the end of the month, being able to kind of look at things and correlate what is happening. And if you think that me doing this sort of review at the end of the month would be helpful, please let me know. And I will do my best. All right, cool. We're going to wipe this out because I don't need this extra column. And I don't want it to show through if I do some cute washi. This was from Arch Michael's Washi Advent, and it is like the most beautiful washi that I've ever seen. Maybe not the most beautiful, but it is like one of my favorites. I've almost used the whole roll. And I need to get on her Etsy shop and see if she has more of this particular Planets one in stock, because I just adore it so much. It's such a good color. It's kind of like it to me. This is like a neutral. Like this is my version of a neutral, right? I hope I was in frame for some of that. I just realized I zoomed in and never zoomed back out. This is kind of my version of a neutral. Okay, so now let's overview this. What are we logging this week? And if this seems like a lot, I also want you guys to keep in mind, I've been fitnessing for a long, long time, and I coach for a living. What I have my clients do when we do this is I literally set up like a Google form for them, and it gets sent to them daily. And all they have to do at the end of the night is just take 30 seconds to fill out a form. So this, to me, setting this up is like fun. maybe it'll give you some inspiration. You by no means have to log all of these things. This is just what I need to kind of hyper focus on for the time being. A lot of times I'm okay just tracking my steps and my activity. But right now I need to kind of up the ante a little bit. And so weight log, steps, cycle symptoms, vitamins, hydration, time of sleep, window of sleep, and did I do anything for stress management? I think what I want to do is add a little bit of this cute washi here in like a couple different spots in a couple different ways. I know what I actually want to do here. I don't want to do washi here. I have a couple stickers. Look how cute this is. We're gonna do a little, and this kind of vibes. I feel like these little stickers vibe. These are from Paper Bits Co. These kind of vibe with the sleep. Huh, so cute. Hydration. Sometimes what I'll do too is I'll put washi over the edge and I'll like punch through it, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Let me start over here. Oh, that's the wrong way. That's cute. Maybe put it at the bottom here. Ah. Wee. I'm just gonna trim off this extra. There we go. And then I can do a little bit over here. So I have this. Is this roughly the right size? Nope. That kind of worked. We're gonna leave it though. Over here is we'll make this. Ta-da! Okay, so now let's look at this whole thing together in the order in which it goes. Okay. Actually, we'll stuff it into my planner back where it belongs. So this is April's data back here. That needs to go in here. And this will be May. My May here in the back. So we'll have my workouts, my weight tracking, my steps, my cycle symptoms, vitamins, hydration, time of sleep, and then stress management. And that's kind of what we're doing and why we're doing it for the month of May and why I tracked what I tracked for April. And again, prior to this in like January and February, I was only tracking my activity. But because I'm now in a fat loss phase, I need to just make sure I keep a closer eye on things so that I don't end up causing health problems due to being in a fat loss phase. So just a little bit of, insight. My business is called Dump Your Diet. I am a fitness coach, but I am very anti-diet culture in that you don't have to lose weight to be healthy, right? I don't technically need to lose any weight. Like, I really don't. But my motivation for losing weight is twofold. One, for me, it's just like I don't really love being the size that I am. I'm not overweight by any stretch of the imagination, but like all I've been doing is like eating and lifting weights for the last few years. And then I had a bout of really bad depression. And so the extra weight gain that I like have had has been a result of like major anxiety, grief, and depression. And it's not so much that I don't like the body that I'm in now. It's just that the body that I'm in now, the way it looks, the way it fit, the way my clothes fit, this number on the scale to me, all it is for me is a reminder of all of the bad shit. And I don't have a specific weight loss goal in mind. I just want to feel like what I feel like on the inside, I want that reflected on the outside. And that's really what it comes down to. And it's the same thing that I tell even my clients when they start working with me. I never tell them they have to lose X amount of weight. If they have a weight loss goal, we talk at length about the why, making sure we're approaching it in a healthy manner. And a lot of them, their weight gain, again, is due to a lot of dysfunction, a lot of stress, a lot of not treating themselves the way that they want to be treated. And what we're trying to do is get them to a point by using health-focused strategies, right? Weight loss is not a health strategy, but using health-focused strategies to help them feel at home in their skin again. And sometimes that's weight loss, sometimes it's not. And it just depends on the person. But for me right now, this is something that I want to do. Also, because I've just been lifting weights for so long, I really want to see what the muscles look like underneath. Like I can already see like a lot of my arm muscles and like my quads and stuff like that. I'm just so excited to see the results of all of that weightlifting, like heavy lifting from the years. So that's what we're doing. But like a lot of this is, again, why I'm not just focused on the calories, and why I even told you, like, I don't want to lose weight at too quick of a rate. And by the data, I can tell I need to eat a little bit more food, which kind of goes against what a lot of people think from a fat loss standpoint, and why I'm trying to optimize sleep so I keep my hormones healthy, why I'm trying to optimize vitamins, because when we're in a calorie deficit, we can struggle with nutrient deficiencies. Trying to focus on hydration, because when you add in additional medications and stressors on the body, you need to support those systems internally so that way you don't end up sicker or with hormonal or metabolic adaptations that take months to recover just for the sake of losing weight. So it's sort of like a fine line that you kind of have to walk with this type of stuff, but hopefully this helps sort of put some of that into perspective. And it's not a black and white situation, right? You can be anti-diet culture and be at peace with your body, but still want to change it. Like at the end of the day, like that's the reality of it. So let me know if you guys want to see an update at the end of May on this data and kind of what it means, similar to how I showed you sort of like what I'm seeing with April and those correlations and how I'm using that information. But other than that, thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully this was helpful. And I'll catch you on the next one.